Building HR dashboards using Power BI. So now that we've gone through the Power BI desktop and the Power BI online service, we would be importing an HR data and employee data into Power BI desktop. We would create report from it and we'll publish to the Power BI online service just to know how each of the service interacts with each other. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we are within the Power BI desktop interface. Now there's no data sets yet, that's why the field portion is empty. So what I'll do is to import an Excel file. We're working with the employee data case study that we've been working with since the beginning of the HR analytics bootcamp course. So Power BI processes the data, brings up the Power. Remember the Power Query Navigator, very similar to what we have when we're dealing with Power Query in Excel. And all you need to do within the Navigator is to pick which of the data you're working with exactly. So both data is almost the same, but because I've created the data as a table and Excel has recognized that as a table, I did not name the table within the Excel file, so I'll work with this. In order to demonstrate the same similarity with your Power Query editor, I'll go to transform rather than load. So it opens the Power Query editor, very similar to Power Query in Excel. And all I want to do now is just to edit the name. So I give this a new name, HR-data. And this difference in this scenario is that in Power Query in Excel, you would see your close and load and close and load to. In this scenario, you only have it as close and apply, or apply or close. Then you have the same interface you would have in your normal Power Query editor. It's the same thing as what you see in your Power BI desktop interface. So I'll just do close and apply. It says I should apply changes. You'll click. Power BI would load the data. Just wait a bit and the data gets loaded and it will be populated on the fields uh, uh, tab. Now, once the data has been populated, the interesting thing about Power BI is what we call your drag and drop way at which it works. So to be able to illustrate that, depending on the visualization that you trying to work with, at the moment the visualization, none of it is enabled. So if you click on any of the data, take for example, I'm working on the employee ID against the employee age. What you would see is that Power BI intuitively gives me a bar chart, basically. But if I didn't do that, I just uncheck and I'd just take that out. I can create that as a table just by clicking in the table here and doing exactly the same thing. You can see, and the employee age range, it creates it as a table. So that's the beauty of Power BI. It's almost like drag and drop, and you can be playing with your data set. So in this scenario, I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to do it as what we call a call card. A call card is like summarizing a data set. So I want you to summarize the total numbers of employees that would be appearing in my dashboard, as it were. So there you are. You're seeing the 364 employees. I could do some edits. So I want you to show me number of employees on the report itself, number of employees, and check out, and there you are. You see the total numbers of employees have been enabled. You can actually change the formats. You could add some colors if you choose to add borders or some visual headers or anything you want to do. You could change the data label, you could change the colors. Can you see look and feel? I think is interesting in blue, so I leave it as that. So that's where you do most of the, and once you click out, it remains the same. Once you click in, then you can edit. Well, once you click out, it means you're fine with what you have. So I have the total numbers of employees. Another interesting data is I want the average employee age and the average length of service. And I'll also be using the call card option all over again. So I'll bring it up here. There you are. The red grid lines helps you to align so that they are not overlapping each other. So there you are. I like that there. So I just want two things. I'll pick the employee age. Now it is giving me the employee age this time around, but it is giving it as total employee age. So I come down here. It's very similar to when you're using your pivot table. So Power BI is combining two things at the same time. You import your data, it turns it into a pivot table interface, and it could translate it into a pivot chart almost immediately. So it's like doing two in one. So this is like data visualization on steroid. So all I need to do, similar to your pivot table, is to go to my field and take it to average, and it turns it to average. I double click here and change it to average employee age. Average employee age, and there you are. Now I can also change this if I choose to. Just come under the formats. I can give it another color under data label. Let me give it a red. Oh, interesting. Maybe a green. Something a little bit depending on the creativity of the whoever is creating this. Maybe this looks interesting, or maybe blue or black, whichever options. It's neither here nor there, but here we are. Then the next one I want to do is the average length of service. I use the call card option all over again. I will bring it here once I'm done. Then I put length of service. It sums it up as a start. I come under the field list and leave it as average. Do some edits. Average employee length of service. Okay, it's not showing, so I can drag and drop. I'm going to rename this to average employee age. Okay, average employee age. So I take it to blue as well. I think I love blue now. Let me just use the same level of fonts, color in terms. So there you are. Now the next thing I want to demonstrate the gender distribution. So I pick gender and I pick the employee ID. Now this time around it comes up as a table, but I want it to show me as a pie chart. So I can drag and drop here, and I can also do any other edit I choose to do. And there you are, you could see the gender. Now I can edit what is given me by coming here and say number of employee by gender, of employee by gender. Here you are. And so here you are. So the next thing I want to do now is to illustrate the age range of the employees and also the length of service. And I also want to be able to illustrate the hire dates, numbers of employees, the hire date for the employees as the case may be. So I'll do the age range first. So I'll pick a bar chart this time around. Sorry, I'll pick a column chart this time around. I'll put in employee ID and employee age range. And there you are. Your employee age has been plotted against the length. Employee ID has been plotted against the age range, and I can click on it and edit, do some edits. Number, employee distribution, number of employees, employees by age range. Okay, employees by age, and you could see the age range of the employees has been plotted out just like that. Now I could also now do for the length of service. This time around I want to use a bar chart, so I put a bar chart somewhere here. So then this time around, employee ID and length of service range. There you are. Employees by length of service. There you are. And you could see all the illustration there. And this time around, you could edit in terms of, you can see the interesting functionality when you're working with your slicers in pivot table and pivot charts. When we're creating dashboards using Excel, can you see this? This is what is doing is just pivoting. So if you want to see the 8 to 14 years, there you are. You can see all of that changing just by clicking there. You click out, everything is back to normal. The last part, this is actually uh, a simple dashboard or simple report that I want to create. Then the next thing is the hire date, numbers of employees. So this time around, I want a line graph. I want it to be somewhere here. So I need the employee ID to be plotted against the hire date. And there you are, employees, number of employees, number of employees by year, numbers of employees hired by year. So there you are, beautifully designed report is ready. Our HR report is already ready now. So at this time, all I'll need to do is just to publish this to the Power BI online service. In order to do that, I must have logged in. So logging into my account. So just ask for my login details with your email, and you're good. So while that is done already, and you could see the beauty, you can see the beauty of what we're talking about. Can you see? The same way your filter works, just by clicking, you know how many employees are between 31 to 40, you know how many are between 41 to 50, and every other thing is, and when they were employed, and employees between 20, only just 30 employees out of 3, the total numbers of employees, and you could see the distribution in terms of age. You click out, and we're back to normal. So I'll publish this to the Power BI online service right away. But before I do that, I need to save. So let me save this as Power BI exercise. So you can see .pbx, no other options for the saving. So I'll do that. Once it's done, then I can go to publish to the online web. Then it's going to ask me where my publishing was, the destination. So I say publish to my workspace, and I select, and it goes online. It's publishing to the web, telling me exactly what I need to do, giving me did you know information. So I'll wait for a few minutes. Then once it's published, it would open a new window in the Power BI online service. So it's done, and I could choose to open it or choose to use my quick insight. So let me click to open. So it's ready, and I can choose to open in Power BI. So once it's done opening, this is the view that you would see in the Power BI online service. This is the view you'll see in the Power BI online service, and all I need to do at this point is I can now go to File, and I can now save as, or I can name my report. Power BI exercise, I save. That's on, is saving it on the cloud at this point. The report is saved. I can now go back to View. I can now export. I can publish to a web, meaning I can embed this report for public access by anyone on the internet, and I can also export to PowerPoint. I can export to PDF, and I can also download this report as a .pbix. So what I'm going to do, two things. I'll export to PDF, exporting to PDF now. So my PDF is ready. It tells me where am I going to save it. I would open it in a few minutes just so that you see. And I can also save it in PowerPoint. To export to PowerPoint, take a few minutes to export it to PowerPoint. While that is happening, let me open the PDF. So that's a beautifully looking report or dashboard in PDF, and you could send that in a report. Then the PowerPoint is ready. I also save it on my desktop, and I will open that for you as well. So it opens as a PowerPoint, and that is the way you see it. First page and the second page. Here you could see it in full glare. That's your HR report or HR dashboard using Power BI. This looks interesting, right? So why don't you get into it and try it out yourself? That's creating a very simplified version of an HR dashboard using Power BI.